Welcome back to Second and Short. It is Monday, April 28th, 2025. We are on a balcony in Myrtle Beach. And we had the NFL draft to wrap up yesterday, all 7 rounds. Shedeur Sanders did get drafted, by the way. A lot of guys go undrafted. I did hit both my undrafted predictions, which is pretty sick.
Shiloh and who
Yeah,
else?
Shiloh and Isaiah Bond.
Okay, yeah.
Bond's
yeah.
still not signed either. But this is going to be relatively short episode, obviously, because we're on vacation. But we're just going to go through each team's draft class, quickly talk about the picks that they made, quick grade on things, and then move on. And then maybe we'll talk a little bit about the trip so far. Just some of the fun little things that have happened. I threw my first disc golf ace today.
Wow.
Pretty sick. But yeah, I mean, might as well. We're going to go alphabetical order, and we'll get things started. Oh, actually, Colin, how are you doing?
I'm doing fabulous today.
Okay, that's good. How'd you like the draft?
It was very eventful, very
Definitely.
weird,
Definitely.
but honestly, not as crazy as I thought it would be.
Yeah, I think there was a few guys that were like crazy drops.
Crazy reaches.
Yeah, definitely some reaches that we're going to talk about. But let's start with the Arizona Cardinals, who definitely got a steal, in our opinion, in the second round. But in the first round, they take Walter Nolan. Second round, they get Will Johnson. At the 15th overall pick in the second round is unbelievable. And then Jordan Birch in the third round, the edge rusher out of Oregon. Fourth round, Cody Simon, the linebacker at Ohio State. Fifth round, Denzel Burke from Ohio State. Sixth round, Hayden Connor from Texas. And seventh round, Kitten Crawford from Nevada. I think this was a fantastic draft class.
Yeah.
You're still missing the wide receiver. We talked about wide receiver being an issue on the draft night special from Thursday, and I think it's still going to be an issue. I mean, Michael Wilson Jr. and Marvin Harrison Jr. is not going to cut it.
I don't think they picked up any free agents.
Not that I
after
know
the
of.
draft.
Not that I know of. But the defense, you did a great job with. I mean, you
Electric.
picked up Sweat this offseason, and you add Walter Nolan on the interior. You added Jordan Birch at edge as well. This defensive line is entirely revamped, which I love.
Yeah.
It's huge. I'm going to give this draft class, I think the Will Johnson steal and Jordan Birch in the third round, I think those are both phenomenal picks. I'm going to give them a B.
Okay.
I do think they're still missing out on the wide receiver.
Yeah, I would have liked to see them attack offense a little bit more,
Yeah.
especially after getting Walter Nolan and Will Johnson in the first two. Maybe because there were some wide receivers that stayed.
Yeah, they
later
made
on.
one offensive pick. It was guard Hayden Connor out of Texas in the sixth round.
Yeah, I'm probably gonna go B minus.
Okay, a B minus for the Cardinals. Now to our Atlanta Falcons.
Oh, baby!
This one's kind of, it's tough. We only made 5 draft picks.
But they were great draft picks.
Great draft picks and some good undrafted free agent signings as well. But those don't count. Jalen Walker in the first round. Then we trade up again in the first round, take James Pierce Jr. Then third round, Xavier Watts. Fourth round, Billy Bowman. Seventh round, Jack Nelson out of Wisconsin, the offensive tackle. So your first 4 draft picks are 2 first rounders, both kind of linebacker / edge rusher. Then you go back-to-back safeties in the third and the fourth round. Xavier Watts, huge upside. Huge upside. And I think he was one where it's like, okay, he did his thing at Notre Dame. He did his thing in the draft process. It's just not a ton of eyes were on him, especially the safety position, which hasn't been highly touted in draft classes recently.
Yeah.
So he falls into the third round, but he's the kind of guy that's going to make an impact.
I think he's number 2 safety in the draft.
Yeah, I mean, there's certainly a case for it. I would say he's certainly top 3 with Eman Warrior and Starks. And then we got Billy Bowman as well, who was on a ton of draft boards as well out of Oklahoma. I mean, Billy Bowman was a guy that was like floating around second-round mock drafts. You get him in the fourth round, that's a hell of a pick. So I think the Falcons did a great job. Now, we didn't address the interior defensive line. We didn't address wide receiver. We didn't address corner. We didn't address center. That's a lot of things to not do. Now, did we pick up Seth McLaughlin, or was that somebody else?
The Bengals got him.
The Bengals got Seth McLaughlin. So that's a problem. We need a center for sure with Drew Dahlman going to the Bears, and we could definitely use some wide receiver help and cornerback depth.
We did get Nick Nash, so that's
we
gonna
did
help out
get
a
Nick
little bit.
Nash as well. But a lot of things
I'm just happy
to look for, but I'm fine with us not being too worried about the draft this year and getting a couple big picks.
I'm just happy we finally addressed players that can get to the quarterback.
Yeah. I'm gonna give this a C plus
Really?
because we maybe screwed ourselves next year, giving up the first round pick.
I think we'll find a way to get back in the first round, though.
Yeah, we'll see.
Honestly, I'm not entirely mad, so I was just going to give us a B.
Okay. On to the Baltimore Ravens, who made a ton of draft picks. A ton of draft picks. A lot of good ones.
I can go ahead and tell you my grade for them right now.
Yeah?
A.
Okay. I'm certainly trending in that direction. We'll go down the list. You got first round, Malachi Stark, safety out of Georgia. Second round, Mike Green, late in the second round. 27th pick of the second round, you get Mike Green out of Marshall. Third round, Emory Jones Jr., the tackle out of LSU. Teddy Buchanan in the fourth round out of Cal. Then you get Carson Vincent, Bilal Cohn, Tyler Loop in the sixth round. The first kicker that the Ravens have drafted in franchise history. That's unbelievable.
It's just with all those allegations with Justin Tucker.
Yeah, you definitely need to address
There's a good chance Justin Tucker might not be kicking for the Ravens next year.
And late in the sixth round, so this team, by the way, the Ravens made 5 sixth-round picks.
Jeez.
I loved their late sixth-round picks. LeJontay Webster, wide receiver out of Colorado, and Aeneas Peebles, the defensive tackle out of Virginia
Tech.
Tech.
In the sixth round?
34th in the sixth round. That's
Wow.
On a compensatory pick, you get a guy who was like floating around the second round for a couple people. This was a highly touted defensive tackle. Aeneas Peebles is an insane pickup. You also got Robert Longerbeam, corner out of Rutgers, and then Garrett Dellinger, the guard out of LSU. I think I'm going to match it. I think it's an A for the Ravens. That is an unbelievable draft class for a team that's already stacked.
Yeah.
I think they addressed the defense so well in this draft. On to the Buffalo Bills. And they also addressed quite a few needs.
Yeah.
Made a lot of trades there in the later rounds. But their first-round pick was Maxwell Harrison. I think that one was well-deserved. A lot of people saw it coming. Corner just made sense. That was the biggest need, 100% on their board.
And I'm happy he got invited to the draft as well. He was everyone's number one fan there.
Me too. Yeah, he was the table closest to the end, and so every single guy that got drafted that was at the draft went by, and he was dapping him up and congratulating him. So shout out to Maxwell Harrison. Second round pick. They trade up in the second round. They take T.J. Sanders, the defensive tackle out of South Carolina. Outstanding pick. They also trade up in the third round, and they took Landon Jackson.
How is that guy in the third round?
That's a crazy steal in the third round. And then, fourth round, they traded up as well. They got Deion Walker out of Kentucky. That's 3 guys that at some point or another in the last, 6 months, I've seen them in first-round mock drafts.
Yeah. Literally halfway through the college season, Deion Walker was like a top 15 projected pick.
Yeah, it's unbelievable. And then you go down the list. In the 5th round, Jordan Hancock out of Ohio State. Also in the 5th round, tight end Jackson Hawes out of Georgia Tech, who's a dog. Dorian Strong, cornerback out of Virginia Tech. And Chase Lunt out of UConn. Caden Prather out of Maryland. They just kept addressing needs. They didn't draft a safety, which was one of their team needs based on ESPN. But they really beefed up on defense, really on the line, especially with T.J. Sanders, Deion Walker, Landon Jackson. You added Maxwell Harrison at corner. You added 2 other cornerbacks in this class. I think they hit they just kept hitting things that it was like, oh, this is a layup. This is a layup. This is a layup. And they were trading up. They were active, but I don't think they hurt themselves at all.
No, they really didn't give up anything crucial for next year.
Yeah.
They gave up a bunch of third, fourth, third and beyond picks.
Yeah. I'm going to give this an A-.
Yeah.
I think it's really good.
Yeah, I'm around the same place. I'm probably going to go one step ahead of you and just hit A again.
Okay.
Because I think they did exactly what they wanted to.
Yeah, I agree. On to the Carolina Panthers. Their first-round pick was Tetairoa McMillan, 8th overall. I've got my opinions on that. Go check out the end of the draft special, by the way. The last 20 minutes of the draft special was me and Mike arguing over that pick. I think it's not great, but we'll see.
You didn't need to get wide receiver there, especially with how many wide receivers fell to the second and third round.
But I'll give them this. I think they killed it for the rest of the draft. They absolutely killed it for the rest of the draft.
Especially picks 2 and 3.
2 and 3 were awesome. Second round, you get Nick Scorton. Outstanding to get him halfway through the second round. I talked pretty highly of him because at Texas A&M last year, they had him playing up at 280. And He just doesn't play that big. He played at like 255 or so when he was at Purdue the season before. Then he plays at 280 at Texas A&M. All of a sudden, he's not putting up the numbers we expected. He's not getting the stats. He's not looking as fast, whatever. Gets to the combine, 257. He looks fast. He's moving how we expected. Of course he was going to perform. Like, that's just how it is. So as long as the Panthers let him play at his natural weight, he's going to be a great player for them. Then in the third round, you add another edge rusher in Princely Umanmilan. Once again, another guy who was floating around first, second round conversations that drops you in the third. Outstanding. You added Trevor Etienne, which I don't know is necessarily a need with Chuba Hubbard and Rico Dowdle already in the backfield this year, but still a decent acquisition. I mean, guys get hurt. It
I'm
happens.
surprised the Jags didn't go pick him up. Him and his brother can sit on the bench together. Watch Tank do his thing.
Also in the fourth round, you got Lathan Ransom, a safety out of Ohio State. Then fifth round, Cam Jackson out of Florida, Mitchell Evans out of Notre Dame. And then the sixth round, Collins predetermined, or his predicted steal of the draft,
baby.
Jimmy Horn Jr. So maybe Tedero McMillan doesn't work out, but maybe Jimmy Horn Jr. does.
Jimmy might start out as a kick returner.
I love Jimmy Horn Jr. I think he'd be a fantastic kick returner. I think Carolina had a hell of a draft after the Tedero McMillan pick.
I think the Tedero pick, he's a phenomenal player.
Yeah.
I don't really know if he's going to fit that system very well.
It's so boom or bust, and that's what really hurts it
I
for
think
me.
that takes them out of A.
Yeah, me too. I'm trending towards B minus.
Someone made a joke. It was like they got because he was like the only wide receiver that Bryce would be able to see over the O-line.
That's true. I mean, he's giant. I'm going to B minus.
Okay. We'll set B.
Okay.
Mainly because I can't dog him that much on one pick.
Yeah, but the
it's
first
the
pick
first
is the
pick.
biggest one, and it
With
was eighth
Jalen
overall.
Walker still
yeah,
on the
you got to
board.
think about who's still on the board. All right. Next, the Chicago Bears. They also addressed some needs. They also had a weird first-round
Their
pick.
shit
I don't know if it was
weird.
bad, but it was weird. First-round pick to take Colston Loveland above Tyler Warren.
Everybody was just freaking out.
Pretty crazy. Then I think they kind of I think that they caught Luther Burden in a good spot.
Yeah.
Seventh pick of the second round is pretty solid to pick up Luther Burden. They traded up for him. Then you got Ozzie Trapillo out of Boston College.
I think they
Shamar
kind of reached
Turner.
on him.
I do too, but you got Shamar Turner in the second round,
He
which
was
is a
good.
fantastic pickup out of Texas A&M. Then no third round pick. They go into the fourth round. I don't know how to say this. Ruben Hippolyte the second.
I'm not even going to try.
Never heard of that guy, but they picked him.
I'm going to pull it up on my
Yeah.
phone, too.
Then in the fifth round, Zaw Frazier out of UTSA. He's a dog, by the way. He's a guy that people didn't talk about a lot. He's a great corner. Sixth round, Luke Newman, Michigan State offensive tackle. And then the last one, their last pick, Kyle Manangai, I believe is how you say that, running back out of Rutgers. I think it was a pretty good draft, but missing out on edge. Once again, Jalen Walker was on the board.
And I think, I don't think they needed to go tight end in the first round.
I don't think they did either.
Cole Kmet is still serviceable.
Yeah, I know they kind of gave up on Cole Kmet. It seems like it's kind of the end of the road with that.
But then later on in the draft, you could have went after a Jackson Hall.
Yeah, I mean,
Mitchell Evans, someone later on, because Cole Kmet is still a guy who puts up numbers for you.
yeah, in the second round, you could have gotten Elijah Arroyo
Yeah.
if you really wanted the tight end. I mean, I know Colston Loveland's great, but I feel like the edge is
There
what
was a
really
bigger
needed help.
need.
Yeah, I agree.
need.
I agree. I'm gonna go with a C plus for Chicago. I don't think it really nothing jumps off the page.
Yeah, I'm going
Nothing's
C.
a needle mover. All right, on to Cincinnati, who I think had a questionable draft in my opinion.
Very questionable.
You start off with Shamar Stewart in the first round, which we've all talked about is very boom or bust. He's got all the skill in the world. He's got the measurables, the athleticism, whatever. He has never put up the numbers.
Yeah.
He has never put anything on the stat sheet that tells you this guy can produce at the NFL level, but he has everything there. So can Cincinnati, of all teams, make him that guy? Can they turn him into that guy? I don't know. But then you bounce back. A couple of pretty good picks. Demetrius Knight Jr., linebacker out of South Carolina. Dylan Fairchild out of Georgia, the guard. Barrett Carter, linebacker out of Clemson. Jalen Rivers from Miami. And then Taj Brooks was their final pick in the sixth round. They made 0 trades. They picked 17th every time. Had no seventh-round pick. But I think it's underwhelming when there's no standout except Shamar Stewart, who we don't know what he's going to do.
Let me ask something here. Why in the hell did they use 3 of their picks for offensive players?
I don't know.
And let me ask.
I mean, they do need help on the offensive line.
Let me ask you another question. Why no secondary?
That's crazy.
No safety,
You're right.
no cornerback.
Yeah, no safety, no corner is crazy.
Like, you don't need to draft 2 linebackers.
No.
And you don't need to draft 2 guards.
I do think it's kind of crazy that ESPN has wide receiver as a need.
And why'd they draft running back?
I don't know about the running back. That one is kind of
And out of all
questionable.
people, Todd
But I mean,
Brooks.
everybody snags a running back at some point.
Yeah. There's probably a safety or a cornerback on there at that point that
Probably
they could have
was.
just snagged and tried to
Probably
make a
was.
project out of.
You never know.
But no, the Bengals, they get a C- from me.
You get a D plus
Yeah,
for me. I mean,
they're
you're
shit.
literally relying on a guy who is unreliable.
Yeah, if I'm a Browns fan, I'm happy.
Yeah. Oh yeah.
'Cause
I agree with that.
that's just one team. I thought he was still out.
Yeah, I know. We're here on vacation with a Browns fan who was not happy with how they drafted, and we're actually about to talk about the Browns. They're the next one alphabetically. Their first overall pick, they traded back, giving up on a Travis Hunter pick. They had Travis Hunter there at 2. They trade back with the Jaguars to 5, and they take Mason Graham,
Love it.
which I love.
Love it.
Love the pickup of Mason Graham on the defensive line to help out and just make Myles Garrett's life a fraction of a little tiny bit easier.
Yep.
It's not going to be easy. They're still going to double him, but it makes things a little easier. But then their second round was amazing. Absolutely outstanding second round, in my opinion.
Yep.
You started off first pick of the second round with Carson Swessinger, linebacker to UCLA.
Ooh, baby.
I think this guy potentially, if you're not counting Jalen Walker as a linebacker, Carson Swessinger
One of the best
could
linebackers in the draft.
could be the best linebacker in year 1.
Yeah.
I think in year 1 he might be the best linebacker in this class. We'll have to see what Jahad Campbell has to show as time goes on.
Oh, I don't
but
know.
Swessinger is an immediate impact guy, and you got him in the second round.
The only thing with Jahad Campbell is he going to start right away? Because he went
Yeah.
to the Eagles.
Yeah, it's tough.
But after Carson and Judkins was their first pick in third round.
No, Judkins was their
in the
second
second.
pick in the second round.
After that-
They traded and got the 4th pick.
After
there
that, we
with
get
the Jags.
questionable.
I agree because I don't like this pick. The third round, they took Harold Fannin Jr., the tight end out of Bowling Green.
Yeah.
I don't love it. And now I know they can use some offensive weapons, let's say, but
And you have one, like, I'm not going to lie, you have maybe a top 5, top 8 tight end in the league in David Njoku.
Njoku's very good, especially athleticism-wise. He's probably one of the best.
But recently he's been getting hurt a lot
Yes.
and missing a lot of time.
What I hate, though, is that Njoku, not really a blocking tight end.
No.
And you picked up
A not
a
blocking.
non-blocking tight end. Harold Fannin is a wide receiver.
Yeah.
He really is, and I very much question that pick, especially because I know there were talented wide receivers on the board, and they grabbed none of them at all in this draft, which
he-
is unbelievable.
Didn't sign any in
Yeah. No
undrafted
wide
free
receivers,
agency
which
either.
is, I think, a huge misstep in this
Yeah.
class, and a series of missteps as it continues, because you finish off the third round by drafting Dylan Gabriel.
trading up.
Trading up to draft Dylan Gabriel. Great point.
Why?
Yeah, why? Like, what? Okay, I get the quarterback room was Kenny Pickett and Joe Flacco, and that's it, right?
Deshaun Watson.
And Deshaun Watson, he's hurt. But yeah, Kenny Pickett, Joe Flacco, and then Deshaun
But hear
Watson's
me out.
hurt.
Will Howard's still on the board.
Yeah, Will Howard was on the board when they got Dylan Gabriel. That's crazy.
Will Howard went so late. He just won a national championship.
Bro, we're going to talk about the Steelers soon, but Will Howard might be the starting quarterback.
That's what I'm saying.
Yeah, but Dylan Gabriel was their third round pick. I hate it. Okay, fourth round, Dylan Sampson.
Why?
I get it. It's fine.
You just drafted Judkins.
I know you just drafted Judkins, but I think it's a sign of being like, hey, Nick Chubb is done.
Yeah.
I think Nick Chubb's done.
What about who was the other guy?
Jerome Ford?
Yeah. You
Nah.
chalking him?
Yeah.
He showed you signs of life.
Life is not 15 carries for 25 yards. That ain't life.
Just because you put $600 of your free agency money on him, dumb.
I didn't do it. Not me. That was
Oh, no,
Mike.
that was Mike.
But yeah, I don't love the Dylan Sampson pick, but I get taking him there in the fourth round. And then you get to the fifth round.
Pick 144 in the NFL draft.
144, Shador Sanders.
Ah.
Oh, my God.
Love it.
How did he fall that low?
Bro, he must have pissed some GMs off.
Yeah.
That's the only thing I can think of.
I mean,
everybody had him besides you in first round mock drafts.
Yeah.
And this man drops to the 5th round.
But I mean, even me, like, I didn't have him in the first round, and a lot of people didn't have him in the first round. I had him going in the first 4 picks of the second round.
Yeah. Bro, once we hit day 2, he was the best available for every round until he was picked.
Yeah, and then he didn't go until the 5th round.
At one point, I was like, is he going to go undrafted?
Yeah.
Like,
and I think we have to talk about the prank call because it has caused quite a stir.
Especially about what we found out today.
Yeah, so Shedeur Sanders had a phone that he got, and the number was only given to
somebody
teams.
within
every
team's
team.
organization.
Yeah, every team had one. So one of those teams that had it was the Falcons. The Falcons weren't going to use it, but they had it.
Oh, they used it.
Well, somebody used it. The Falcons didn't. And that contact was seen on Jeff Ulbrich, the new defensive coordinator for the Falcons, former Jets interim head coach. It was seen on his computer or whatever by his son, Jax. And Jax took the phone number, saved it, and used it to prank call Shedeur Sanders and say that somebody was going to pick him.
He's the GM of the Saints.
Yeah, the GM of the Saints, and that they were going to draft him. That's insane.
He was like, you're going to be next. And then, like, later on, he was like, all right, you're going to have to wait a little longer. And then just hung up.
Yeah, I mean, that's absolutely ridiculous.
And, like, you know, with social media and everything, we saw it on both ends. We saw the video.
Yeah, we saw Shedeur's Twitch stream.
Yeah.
It's crazy.
He was like, what just happened?
Yeah.
And then we saw Jax's end.
Oh, I haven't seen that.
Oh, you didn't see that?
No, I haven't seen that. I'll have to watch it later. But
a group of them.
That's crazy. Absolutely insane.
Oh, but hear me out. Your dad works. Jeff might get in some serious trouble.
No,
for this.
the Falcons already said they're not punishing Jeff Ulbrich.
Okay.
It's not his fault.
Yeah, but guilty by association sometimes.
Sure.
And, like, that's a high-level organization.
Yeah.
You could have got your dad in some serious trouble.
Oh, for sure. No, that is something you should not be messing around with, especially because it has to do with the Falcons.
Yeah, we already got in trouble last year.
Exactly. We can't be cheating
and we
anymore.
saw how it hurt us in this draft.
Yeah. So Shedeur Sanders did get picked. What do we think about Cleveland's draft overall?
I think their first 3 picks, phenomenal. I think getting Shedeur at 144 is going to pan out for them.
That's a steal. Even if he doesn't play a game.
At this point, we have to say it's a steal.
Yeah, it's a steal. For sure. He's talented.
But I would have loved to see them go wide receiver, maybe even grab an offensive tackle on the board.
Yeah, I think wide receiver was the big swing and a miss here for me. I'm going to give him a C+.
Yeah.
I think you got value. And I love Mason Graham, and I love Carson Swetzer and Judkins. I can't let the rest of the draft totally take away from those 3 outstanding picks that I think are all going to be starters at the start of the season. Okay, next, the Dallas Cowboys. Oh, sorry, grades.
I'll give him a C+ as well.
A C+. Okay. On to the Dallas Cowboys.
Oh, I'm excited to talk about this one.
They got a lot of picks.
A lot of picks.
And I think, for the most part, they used them wisely. Now, first round pick, they take Tyler Booker at 12 overall. I think you could have traded back, but I don't blame them for just sitting there and taking the guy they wanted and moving on.
From the way it looked, I don't know how far they could have traded back because the Vikings picked up a guard.
That is true. So at 24.
And Tyler Booker was clearly the best guard in the draft.
100%.
But honestly, so I'm very familiar with him because he went to Bama.
Yeah.
But watching his post-draft interview had me ready to run through a brick wall, and I'm not even a Cowboys fan.
Yeah.
He was like, you saw his quote?
Yeah, it was
I'm going to make the love of the game leave their eyes.
Yeah, that's crazy. That's crazy. By an offensive guard.
And I think what the Cowboys really wanted is that in college, he dogged the fuck out of Jalen Carter.
Love that. Love that. Well, and then in the second round, I think they got a steal.
Oh, Ezeriaku?
Yes.
Yeah.
Donovan Ezeriaku in the second round, at 12th in the second round, by the way, is a steal in my eyes for the Cowboys. Then you got Siobhan Revell in the third round, another steal in my opinion. And then you go fifth rounders. You got Jaden Blue out of Texas, who's low key could make a little bit of an impact.
And stays in the state of Texas.
And I mean he's gonna play.
Yeah,
it's him and Javonte Williams.
Yeah. Who's the other one they had? I thought they signed someone else.
I don't even know. Nathan, can we get a check on that? Who's Cowboys depth chart, please, for a running back?
So you guys know Nathan is here with us. He's lounging on the bed right now. He's tired.
So the rest of their draft class: Shamar James in the 5th round out of Florida.
That's hype.
Ajani Cornelius out of Oregon. I like that pick.
Yeah.
Jay Toya out of UCLA. Phil Maffa in the 7th round. And Tommy Aking-Besto, I believe is how you say it, out of Maryland. Phil Maffa, bum.
Yeah. The only another team that we're questioning, why didn't they grab a wide receiver?
Yes. I think like 5th round, grab a wide receiver.
Clearly, like, you need to help CD. And so
what was it? Miles Sanders, bum.
Miles Bummy Sanders.
2 bums in the backfield.
Yeah.
Sanders and Maffa.
Yeah. But the way I look at it is like, so you got CD.
Yeah.
You lose Brandon Cooks. Like Kavontae Turpin and Jalen Tolbert. Is that your wide receiver room right now?
Yeah.
That's not great.
Not good. Sneaky, if Isaiah Bond gets away with things, I could see him being an undrafted free agent pickup.
You think the Cowboys would be one to so you trade Micah to Miami and get Tyreek?
I hate that trade for both
But
teams.
for some reason, I have a feeling that it could happen.
Maybe. I think Micah wants to go somewhere better than Miami. That's a horrible organization. We'll see. What do we think about the Cowboys draft class?
I like it. I'm gonna give him a B+.
I'm not a fan.
Really?
I'm gonna go with a C.
I think it's Nathan's doing the finger thingy.
Yeah, I think it's a C. I think it was incredibly average.
But I like it because their first 3 picks, all of those were projected first-round guys.
That's fair. That is fair. Next, you got the Denver Broncos. Jahdae Barron leads it off for them. Then R.J. Harvey, Pat Bryant, Savion Jones in the 3rd round. I love Q Robinson in the 4th round out of Bama. 6th round, you take a punter, Jeremy Crawshaw out of Florida. Then 7th round, Caleb Lohner, tight end out of Utah. I'm going to be straight up. I don't like this draft.
No.
I think Jahdae Barron's pretty good, but I don't know if corner was maybe the way to go in round 1. Go ahead.
I was going to say, if you look at their top 5 needs, running back, wide receiver, defensive tackle, center, and tight end.
Yeah, and I also don't think R.J. Harvey's that guy.
And why are you drafting a punter?
Yeah, that is a little questionable, drafting a punter.
Not even with your last pick.
No. I mean, Riley Dixon left, but still. Yeah, I don't like R.J. Harvey all that much. I do think Savion Jones is a great pickup in the 3rd round, and Q Robinson in the 4th round is good, but I think everything else I'm not really a huge fan of. Like, I like Jahdae Barron, but like I said, I don't know if it's the fit.
I'm gonna give him a D-.
I'm gonna give him a.
I almost went F.
I'm gonna go with a D. I think it's just boring. I think it's just a boring draft class.
I think it's boring, and they didn't really get all like their most important needs that they needed.
Yeah.
And for what they did grab, they could have got someone better. They kind of reached on a few guys.
True. All right, on to the Detroit Lions. Tyleek Williams in the 1st round, defensive tackle out of Ohio State. Tate Ratledge out of Georgia in the 2nd. Isaac Tesla, the wide receiver out of Arkansas in the 3rd. Miles Frazier out of LSU in the 5th. Ahmed Hassanian, love that pick in the 6th round out of Boise State. And then 2 Georgia boys in the 7th, Dan Jackson and Dominic Lovett. This is an awesome draft class. I'll just say that.
You're telling me Dan Jackson and Dan Campbell are going to partner up?
Yes. And Detroit obviously copying Philly's recipe for success.
Get them Georgia boys.
Get the Georgia boys. It works.
They know how to win.
We'll see what happens. I mean, Ratledge probably going to get some playing time early. Tyleek Williams certainly going to be playing the game. Isaac Tesla might get some looks. Probably. I like him a lot.
Depends
Good
how
wide
we feel
receiver.
If Jamison Williams leaves.
Yeah.
If we keep loving on Tim Patrick. We'll see.
We'll see about it. Ahmed Hassanian, certainly a project guy. I believe he's Egyptian. Could be wrong about that. Yes, he is from Egypt. And he just hasn't been playing football for very long. That's kind of the thing with Hassanian, but he has got the talent. He's got the athleticism. And I think Detroit is a fantastic team to just teach him how to do that.
Yeah.
Dan Jackson, dog. I hope he makes the roster. I hope he keeps playing for them. And Dominic Lovett, I mean, if he can show up, he can show up. We saw him show up a couple times at Georgia. We certainly saw him have his fair share of issues.
Yeah. For sure.
What's the grade for Detroit?
I'm giving him a B+.
I'm going to go with just a B.
Yeah.
I'm going to go with a B. I don't know. That first round pick doesn't really stick out to me enough.
Yeah, but who knows? Maybe we're underrating Tyleek.
It could be.
Tyreek Williams.
Could be. All right, on to Green Bay, the host city. They
Oh,
take Matthew
baby.
Golden with their first pick. Absolutely love it. Second pick, Anthony Belton, the tackle out of NC State. Third round, Savion Williams, wide receiver out of TCU. Fourth round, Baron Sorrell, edge rusher out of Texas. Colin Oliver from Oklahoma State in the fifth. Warren Brinson out of Georgia in the sixth. And then your seventh round, you take Micah Robinson and John Williams. I don't think a lot of it jumps off the page, other than Matthew Golden. But it addressed the needs.
I was about to say, they got all 5 of their
Yeah.
top needs.
Yeah, and the Packers do this really well. They draft like this every year, it seems like. I think they did a great job of it again. Now, like I said, not a lot jumps off the page, but Golden is going to be a big impact guy. I think
year 1, he's going to be your wide receiver 1.
I think year 1, he's an offensive rookie of the year candidate.
Yeah.
He's just that kind of
He's going to
guy.
get fed the ball, so he's going to be able to put up those
Yeah.
numbers.
Yeah, I definitely agree with that. So Matthew Golden is certainly the one that headlines this draft class. But there's a couple of just solid pieces throughout.
Yeah.
I'm going to give him a B minus.
Yeah.
I like
that.
him.
I'm probably going to give him a B.
Okay. On to the Houston Texans. Every single pick was traded. That's insane. The Texans were getting active. Every single pick was traded.
Yeah, they traded out of the first.
Traded out of the first.
With the Falcons, I'm pretty sure, right?
No, with the Giants to get Jackson Dart. We traded with the Rams.
That's right.
But the Texans, they traded out of the first round. Second round, they get Jaden Higgins in the second round. Love it. Great pickup. They needed a wide receiver. Second round as well. Ariante Ursery out of Minnesota.
Phenomenal.
Fantastic tackle. Fantastic pick. Then you get Jaden Higgins' teammate in the third round, Jalen Knoll. So 2 Iowa State wide receivers. Clearly, wide receiver is what they're going for. Stephon Diggs left. Nico Collins been a little bit banged up kind of every year.
Same with Tank.
And then obviously Tank Dell has had his fair share of injuries. Then Jalen Smith in the third round. Woody Marks, the running back out of USC in the fourth round. I think he's a sleeper for sure.
Jalen Reed in the 6th is insane.
Jalen Reed in the sixth round is such a snag by them out of Penn State. He's a phenomenal safety. Graham Mertz, questionable. I feel like he's an undrafted free agent kind of guy, but
he was a reach and a half if I had to put it.
I mean, he got picked before Quinn Ewers, didn't he?
Yeah, I'm pretty
That's
sure.
crazy.
Yeah, there was a lot of people on the board.
Yeah, Graham Mertz, interesting one. And then Keontae Hamilton and Luke Lackley in the seventh round. I really like this draft class a lot.
I think they did great.
Yeah, I don't know if there's necessarily a headline pick because you didn't pick in the first round. That's kind of just what's going to happen. But Houston did a great job with this draft class. So all things considered, I think they get a B plus.
I would have loved to see them grab maybe one more tackle or maybe even a guard.
Yeah.
Just because that's where your biggest problem
That's
was.
fair.
So I'm just gonna give him a B.
Okay.
I loved everything, but you got to protect C.J. Stroud.
Yeah. On to the Indianapolis Colts. I think this one might be a good grade for me. I'm just saying.
Good grade.
Yeah. Okay. First round, you get Tyler Warren, who was mocked to you all year. Somehow you lucked out with him getting past the Jets. He got past the Cowboys.
The Bears.
The Bears, not the Cowboys. But he got past all these teams that could have taken tight end. Colston Loveland goes off the board, and all of a sudden Tyler Warren falls into your lap.
I bet that war room for the Colts was just going.
We saw how fast that pick went in.
Yeah.
They knew they wanted Tyler Warren, and I think he's the guy.
Yeah.
Now, does he have a quarterback to throw to him? That's another question.
We'll talk about that here in a little bit.
That's true. Second round, JT Tuimoloau out of Ohio State.
Underrated.
Fantastic pickup at edge. They needed it. Justin Wally at corner. Add some depth there in the secondary. Jalen Travis out of Iowa State, the tackle. He was great. DJ Giddens, sleeper running back. We loved him. I loved him since the beginning of the season.
Be a great backup for Jonathan Taylor.
Yes, agreed. Riley Leonard in the sixth round. Tim Smith, they trade up, take picks back-to-back. They take Tim Smith and Riley Leonard back-to-back. Riley Leonard's going to join the conversation for that QB battle.
He could be the starting QB.
I mean, why not? It's Daniel Jones and Anthony Richardson. Riley Leonard can't be that bad.
It's like a battle between Rugrats.
Yeah, that's an awful one. And then seventh round, Hunter Warler out of Wisconsin. A lot of seventh rounders out of Wisconsin this year.
Yeah.
I think it's a really good draft. I really do.
I'm gonna give him a B plus.
I am giving them a B plus as well. I think it's very
because they still
good.
needed guard and linebacker, and they
Yeah.
didn't really address that.
Yeah. On to the Jacksonville Jaguars, who they got Travis Hunter. And I think that's kind of it.
Yeah, you really. Bashal Tootin.
Bashal Tutin's a good pick. Fastest running back at the combine this year, but you get Travis Hunter by trading up in the first round. You lost next year's first? to the Browns. That's
The
that's
Browns
kinda
could
crazy.
have 2, maybe 3
Yeah. So
10 picks.
Jacksonville going to be interesting. But you traded up. You took Travis Hunter, generational guy, franchise definer type of pick. I get it. Caleb Ransall in the 3rd round because you also gave up your 2nd round pick to the Browns. Wyatt Milam out of West Virginia. Bashal Tootin in the 4th round. Jack Kaiser in the 4th round. 6th round, you get Jalen McLeod, Rayon Lane in the 3rd, Jonah Monheim, and LaQuint Allen in the 7th round. I'm going to be honest, I just don't think this is a very good draft class other than Travis Hunter, and I don't really know how good that is either.
Yeah. Well, one of their main needs was a defensive tackle, which is why everyone thought Mason Graham was going to go to them. You didn't pick one up all draft.
No.
You actually kind of went back-to-back cornerbacks.
Yeah. Yeah.
Why?
Yeah, and
Why with the first 2?
I mean, with Travis Hunter, everybody said if he goes anywhere, major in offense, minor in defense. He's going to play a little bit of defense, but he's mainly going to play wide receiver.
Yeah.
And I think if he can add something on both sides of the ball for this team, that's huge because it addresses both these 2 things that they need.
But is it big enough to get the extra 4 or 5 wins in a season?
I really do just think that pick came down to young GM, young head coach.
Wants to make a splash.
Make a splash in your first draft. That was definitely a splash. I mean, nobody saw it coming, but that splash earns them a C-.
Yeah.
Actually, no, D+.
Yeah. I was going to say C-, so we'll wrap with that.
Okay. Yeah, I'm going with it.
Mainly just because I've always been high on Bashal Tootin. I think Jack Kaiser's a great pick.
Yeah.
And, of course, Travis Hunter.
Yeah, that's fair. All right, on to the Kansas City Chiefs. I mean, they just know how to draft.
Okay, let me
They
tell
do.
you this. Before we even talk about them, I'm giving them an A.
Okay, they're going to and you know what? I agree with you. First round pick, they traded back 1 spot with the Eagles for a later pick in the draft. I mean, it was the weirdest move because Howie Roseman just doesn't want to sit still.
They got the person they were going to get all along.
Exactly. They got Josh Simmons, offensive tackle out of Ohio State. Then 2nd round, they get Omar Norman Lott, defensive tackle out of
He's underrated
Tennessee.
as fuck.
Love it. Love it. 3rd round, Ashton Gillott, edge rusher out of Louisville. Love that pick as well. Noel Williams out of Cal, the corner. He's great. Cal, sneakily, very good secondary producer. Jalen Royals in the 4th round at wide receiver. That's an outstanding pick for that kind of value, too. I mean, it's unreal. Jeffrey Bossa, the linebacker out of Oregon, and then Brashard Smith out of SMU. Brashard Smith is a big sleeper in this class at running back, and they could always use the depth. I mean, they've got running backs getting hurt every week.
Yeah, and the biggest thing is they addressed all 5 of their needs.
Yes.
And got a high performance talent
Yes.
at each.
Yes, and if you go back and look at these draft classes that the Chiefs have had, there's a reason they keep going back to the Super Bowl. They just, every single time something leaves, they bring it in and replace it, and it works its way through. So shout out to the Chiefs for doing it again. They get an A for me.
Yeah.
On to the Los Angeles Chargers. Jim Harbaugh making his 2nd draft with the Chargers. I think I think it's pretty good. Omarion Hampton in the 1st round. I love it because I don't think Najee's all that good.
I just think you get a running back later
I
on.
think Harbaugh picked up Najee because he wishes that he would have got him out of high school. I mean, he tried.
he did his very best.
But he didn't get him out of high school. He decided to get him in the NFL. I think Omarion Hampton is a baller. I really do. I think he's going to make a huge difference for that team. Then you got Trey Harris in the 2nd round, late in the 2nd round. Love that pick. Absolutely love that pick. Jamari Caldwell in the 3rd round. Kyle Kennard in the 4th round. That's another great one. Keandre Lambert Smith out of Auburn. Sleeper at wide receiver down there. Oronde Gadsden out of Syracuse. Branson Taylor out of Pitt. R.J. Mickens from Clemson. And Trikweze Bridges is your final pick out of Florida. Once again, I think the Chargers
They did
did a great job.
I think they lucked out because with grabbing Omarion Hampton, then you don't pick again till late in the 2nd round. And I was really afraid that they were going to miss out on a really good wide receiver.
Yeah.
But them able to get Trey Harris, I think saved them a little bit.
Oh, definitely.
And then getting KLS, of course, is a sleeper.
Yeah. Yeah, I think they did a great job. I'm giving them an A-.
All right, I'm giving B+.
I think it might be generous.
It's a little
might be
biased.
generous.
I just don't love their first pick. But
fair.
I hope it proves me wrong.
Hey, that's fair. All right. On to the Los Angeles Rams, who traded out of the 1st round with the Falcons, and in the 2nd round took Terrence Ferguson, tight end out of Oregon, which I love.
It set them up for next year.
Yes, definitely. I love Terrence
Which
Ferguson.
I think is what they're expecting because, listen, you don't know how much longer Stafford's going to play.
That's true. It's true.
Bro,
We'll see what happens.
Trade up, maybe get Arch next year.
I mean, you might not even have to trade up. We'll see what the Falcons do. All right, Josiah Stewart in the 3rd round, and then Jarquez Hunter in the 4th round. Interesting depth move for running back. Yeah.
See you later, Ronnie Rivers.
Yeah, and Blake Corum. Ty Hamilton in the 5th round. Chris Paul Jr. out of Ole Miss. I really like that one. And then Konata Mumpfield, wide receiver out of Pitt. Loved that pick in the 7th round for the Rams. I do wish they went to the secondary. They didn't. And maybe you could have said they could take a quarterback, but I'm not really that worried about it.
You got Stafford. Jimmy G is the backup.
Is he still the backup?
I think he's still the backup, and then you have, is Stetson still part of the? Yeah,
I don't know.
That needs to be studied.
Who knows?
Whatever happened with that? But
everybody knew that Stetson was going to flame out after college.
But with the Rams draft, it just wasn't flashy.
No, not at all. It's more about what they got next year.
Yeah.
They got another 1st-round pick next year, and it's from the Falcons. So you're going to be picking somewhere pretty good,
top
probably.
10.
I don't know about that. We'll see.
It's okay to accept the fact that we're still going to suck next year.
If we're picking top 10, Raheem Morris, get out of town.
Yeah.
I'm going to give the Rams a C. I think it's as average as it gets.
Yeah, I'm thinking C minus.
On to the Las Vegas Raiders. Ashton Ginty is the headliner for sure at the 6th overall pick. 2nd round, you take Jack Besh when you trade back into the 2nd round. Love that pick. 3rd round, Darian Porter, Caleb Rogers, Charles Grant from William & Mary. Big-time sleeper, William & Mary offensive tackle, Charles Grant. A lot of people talked him up a ton. And then 4th round, I love both of these picks. Dante Thornton was a guy I was talking about all throughout the draft process. And then Tonka Hemingway is a baller out of South Carolina. I love that one. Then in the 6th round, J.J. Pegues, fantastic pick. This is the one that had the question marks. Tommy Mellott, or Mello, or I think it's Mellott, out of Montana State, is a quarterback / wide receiver. Then you took 2 picks later, Cam Miller, quarterback out of North Dakota State. These 2 teams played each other last season. They're 2 of the best programs in FCS. They were just like, all right, we're going to take both these guys. Whoever is better wins. And then the other one, fuck off. I don't know. 7th round, you take Cody Lindenberg out of Minnesota. Crazy draft class for the Raiders. I mean, they did a ton.
They did a lot.
Yeah.
You think it could have been better?
I think it definitely could have been better, but Ginty, Besh, I mean, those 2 picks were great. And then you found your guys as you go down this draft class. I think it was really good.
Yeah. I'm thinking B minus.
I'm going to go with a B, just a standard B.
Yeah.
All right, on to the Miami Dolphins. This one, a lot of question marks, but they did something. I might go lower. Kenneth Grant was their first pick in the 1st round at 13th overall, maybe a little high. 2nd round, they trade up. They take Jonas Savanea, I believe. 5th round, Jordan Phillips out of Maryland. Jason Marshall Jr., Dante Trader. 6th round, Ollie Gordon. 7th round, Quinn Ewers. 7th round, Zeke Biggers as well out of Georgia Tech. This is D. I hate it.
Yeah, it's not good.
I hate it. Quinn Ewers should not have got drafted. Yeah, I don't love the first pick either. I think you could have traded down and gotten Kenneth. I'm going to be honest.
Their best pick was Jonah, 2nd round.
Yeah, Savanea. I think that one's a good one. But yeah, I think it's boring. D.
Yeah.
On to the Minnesota Vikings. They didn't make a lot of picks. They only made 5 picks. But 1st round, took Donovan Jackson. I thought it was a little bit of a reach, but I think they just were set on guard, and there wasn't a guard there other than him. Then 3rd round, Ty Felton. 5th round, Tyrion Ingrams-Dawkins out of Georgia. 6th round, Kobe King out of Penn State and Gavin Bartholomew out of Pittsburgh. Pitt. I think this is boring as hell.
This is one that I give a D.
I'm gonna go D as well. I don't know.
You don't get corner. You don't get
this is
interior.
a team that lost a lot.
You don't get interior D line. You're fine on the edge. Why are you wasting a pick on an edge rusher when you got him last year?
I don't know. I think this whole draft is so weird.
What happens if Harrison Smith goes down this year?
I don't know. I don't like it.
Bad.
I don't like it.
You don't need a tight end. You got Johnny Munt. Relax.
And T.J. Hawkinson, maybe?
No.
Oh, no, he's... Wait, yeah, they do.
Wait, didn't Johnny Munt go somewhere else? He did.
Oh, yeah, Johnny Munt did leave.
Oh.
I don't know where he went, but he's not there. All right, on to the New England Patriots who made a shitload of picks.
Okay, yeah, you ready? A+.
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 Okay. They took Will Campbell 4th overall. They take Travion Henderson in the 2nd round. 3rd round, Kyle Williams out of Washington State. 3rd round as well, Jared Wilson out of Georgia, the center. 4th round, Craig Woodson out of Cal and Joshua Farmer out of Florida State. 5th round, Braden Swinson. 6th round, Andres Borregales, I believe is the first kicker off the board in the 6th round there out of Miami. 7th round, Marcus Bryant, Julian Ashby, and Kobe Minor. Please explain the A+.
Will Campbell, I wasn't sold on him on draft night.
Okay.
I'm sold on him now.
Was it the press conference?
No.
Okay. His press conference was good. I'll give him that.
It was very good, but that's not something that's going to sway it over Mimbu.
Okay.
Travion Henderson. I think he's going to steal the spot from Ramondre within the first couple games.
I agree with that, for sure.
Kyle Williams is a little slept on at the wide receiver spot.
Definitely. Yeah.
But the biggest thing is Braden Swinson in the 5th round.
I do love that pick.
That's an underrated as fuck edge rusher. He's the one I thought that would go high in the 2nd.
Yeah.
But, again, you're addressing every single one of your needs without giving up future picks. High future picks.
No, I liked a lot of their picks. I'll give them all that credit.
You're building around Drake May.
Yeah.
You're building around Christian Gonzalez. Those are your two, young captains, I guess is what I should say, because you got one for defense, one for offense, and you build around them. They're building a winning culture there.
Yeah, I'm giving them an A-. I don't know about an A+.
There's a few. There might be one more team that gets an A+.
I'm gonna be honest. It's really hard to get an A+ for me unless you got a star quarterback in the first round, and then you just hit it out of the park for the rest of the rounds. It's really difficult to get an A+.
I think they got such great value for all their picks.
I agree. All right, on to the New Orleans Saints. First round, they take Kelvin Banks, 9th overall. 2nd round, Tyler Shuck.
How the fuck is he going the 2nd round?
I don't know. 3rd round, Vernon Broughton out of Texas and Jonas Sanker out of Virginia. 4th round, Danny Stutzman out of Oklahoma. Quincy Riley out of Louisville. Love that pick. 6th round, Devin Neal, a running back out of Kansas. 7th round, Moliki Mataveo and Fadil Diggs. Tyler Shuck is such a bad pick in my eyes. I mean, he's made a couple good ones. He's made a lot of bad ones. I hate it. I'm going to go C-. I think it's fine. C-.
Yeah. C.
Okay. Let's keep rolling here. New York Giants take Abdul Carter, 3rd overall. They trade into the 1st round. They take Jackson Dart at the 25th spot. 3rd round, Darius Alexander. 4th round, Cam Scattaboo. 5th round, Marcus Imbo. 7th round, Thomas Fidone II. 7th round, Corey Black. A+.
Yeah.
A+ draft class from the New York Giants. This is what Joe Shane and Brian Dable needed. They needed this bad.
This was the one other team that got my A+.
Yeah, definitely. This is going to be my only A+. I'll go ahead and say
I just think getting Darius Alexander in the 3rd is phenomenal.
Oh, it's unbelievable.
I think Cam Scattaboo is perfect for their offense.
Yeah, he's going to be great.
Because Tyrone Tracy, elusive as fuck.
Yeah, and Scattaboo is going to be a great
wall.
special teamer.
I wouldn't be surprised if they run double running back for a good bit.
Yeah, we'll see it. We'll see it for sure.
Yeah, Jets.
The Jets also had a great class in my eyes.
Yeah.
1st round, they take Armin Membu, 7th overall. 2nd round, Mason Taylor, the tight end out of LSU. 3rd round, Azariah Thomas out of Florida State. 4th round, Arian Smith out of Georgia, as well as Malachi Moore from Alabama. 5th round, Francisco Mauigoa out of Miami, and also Tyler Barron out of Miami. This is a great draft class.
It's an A- for me.
Yeah, I don't think it's a ton of huge names. It's not, guys that are going to be winning awards next year.
But it's guys that are going to make a day one impact.
Exactly. And the Jets need that. The Jets need that bad.
Even with names like Tyler Warren.
Yeah.
Mason Taylor might be the best tight end that comes out of this class.
I mean, he certainly could be. He's definitely one of the best.
Armin Membu is him.
Armin Membu is him. That is for sure. Wish they addressed a little bit more on the defensive line, but I like it. I'm going to give him an A- as well.
Let's just hope Arian Smith can catch the ball for him.
Yeah. On to the Philadelphia Eagles, who had a lot of draft picks, and they always trade a lot. It was a little bit weird. So 1st round, they took Jahad Campbell, which they got him at 31, which is outstanding because they were trying to trade up to 22 and get him.
But do you need a linebacker?
Why not? They can do whatever they want. They just won a Super Bowl.
That's fair.
And then you go down the rest. You got Andrew Makuba at safety out of Texas in the 2nd round. Ty Robinson from Nebraska in the 4th. 5th round, Mac McWilliams, Smale Munden Drew Kendall, 6th round. Kyle McCord, which is an interesting one, but I don't hate it.
Yeah, I don't hate it at all.
Miles Hinton, Cameron Williams, and Antoine Powell Ryland out of Virginia Tech. This is a good class. It is. It's not crazy good, but it's pretty good. And if you're coming off of a Super Bowl championship, who cares?
With that many picks, it's crazy.
Yeah.
But I'm going to give him a B minus.
I'm giving him a B plus. I think Jahad Campbell's great, and he does add something to this team.
Yeah.
Going to the Stillers. The Stillers.
If only we had Luke here for this one.
I'm going to give him some love. I'm going to show the Steelers some love here. I really am.
Congratulations on getting Caleb Johnson.
Yes, and your franchise quarterback.
Yeah.
No, okay. First round, they take Derek Harmon. Love that pick.
I love
Absolutely love
story,
it.
man.
I love Derek
I feel
Harmon.
so
And
bad for
yeah,
him.
oh my God. Insanely heartbreaking story with his mother passing away shortly after he was drafted. I mean, that is unbelievably sad.
Look out for that man to be defensive rookie of the year.
Yeah,
100%.
I mean, he's certainly playing for something bigger than anyone. 3rd round, Caleb Johnson, running back out of Iowa. That's a snag in middle of the 3rd round. I mean, that's great. 4th round, Jack Sawyer. That's a dog in the 4th round. 5th round, Yaya Black. 6th round, Will Howard. 7th round, Carson Bruner. 7th round, Dante Kent. Killer Steelers class. Love that Jack Sawyer is going to be there. He's a great franchise fit to me.
Yeah.
And Derek Harmon, Caleb Johnson, dogs. Will Howard might be the starting quarterback next year. I mean, they could really do something here. What are we giving them grade-wise?
I'm going to give him a B plus.
I'm thinking B plus as well. They did a great job. On to the Seattle Seahawks. Gray Zabel was their 1st round pick, which I love. 2nd round, they trade up. They snag Nick Emanwari. What a snag, Nick Emanwari, and Elijah Arroyo in the 2nd round. 3rd round, Jalen Milroe. I've got my questions. I'll say that.
I love it.
I love it too, but we'll see. We'll see. They also traded off Sam Howell.
The other day, you literally were saying, I think I'm buying in on Jalen Milroe in the NFL.
I didn't say as a quarterback.
He hasn't stepped foot on the NFL field as a quarterback yet, has he?
Just saying. I don't love the pick, but it's there. They did it. Riley Mills, Torrey Horton. Do like Torrey Horton a lot. Robbie Oots in the 5th round. I know you like that
Just
one.
so everyone knows, he will be a fullback in the NFL.
Yes. 6th round, Bryce Cabeldew, I think. And then Damian Martinez, running back out of Miami. I don't love that pick, but it's fine. Mason Richmond and Ricky White the 3rd. It's a pretty good class. I think it's a little top heavy, but yeah.
Ricky White slept on.
Ricky White is slept on out of UNLV. Very good.
I love Gray Zabel, though.
Yeah, me too. I think he's awesome. Nicky Manwari's a snag. Arroyo's a snag. I'm gonna give him a B plus because of the value they got at these draft slots.
Yeah, I was thinking B.
Okay, on to the 49ers. 11th overall, they take Michael Williams. Now, Michael Williams versus Jalen Walker is going to be an interesting thing to watch going forward with Jalen Walker dropping to 15. But 2nd round, they get Alfred Collins out of Texas. 3rd round, Nick Martin. 3rd round as well, Upton Stout. 4th round, C.J. West, Jordan Watkins. 5th round, Jordan James and Marquez Siegel. 7th round, Curtis Rourke, Connor Colby, and Junior Bergen.
I'm going to be honest. After Michael, this draft kind of sucked.
Yeah, it's kind of weird. I'm going to be, yeah.
They went a lot of, like, Midwest schools and shit
yeah,
like that.
Yeah. It's a loaded roster already.
Yeah.
So you got to look out. They obviously needed to address defensive spots. I think Alfred Collins is a good pick in the 2nd, but otherwise, nothing really that great.
No.
I'm gonna go with like a C plus. I think it's fine.
I'm giving a C.
All right. On to the Tampa Bay Buccaneers. I think this class is awful.
Yeah.
Absolutely awful. Emeka Egbuka in the 1st round. Okay.
What the fuck?
Whatever. I don't care. Benjamin Morrison, great pick in the 2nd round.
They're only.
Then you just doubled down on corner with Jacob Parrish in the 3rd, which I don't love. 4th and 5th round, you get edge rushers, David Walker, Elijah Roberts. 7th round, Tez Johnson, awful pick, F.
You only got wide receiver, cornerback, and edge in this draft.
Yeah.
That is all you get.
That's
Where's your
enough.
linebacker? Where's your, like, come on.
It's awful. It's awful.
Yeah. I'll follow you. F.
Yeah. F.
But we love
fuck
to see
Tampa.
it as Falcons fans.
Love it.
Love to see
it.
it as Falcons
Love it.
fans.
All right, Tennessee, penultimate team. Cam Ward, quarterback. Love it. Obviously, layup. Femi Oladejo in the 2nd round. Love it. Kevin Winston Jr. in the 3rd round out of Penn State. Love it. Chimere Dike out of Florida in the 4th. Another good one. Gunnar Helm in the 4th. Alec Eomanor in the 4th. These are steals as you go down the list. Jackson Slater, Marcus Harris, Khalil Mullings. Tennessee did a great job. They really did. They really did. They're going to get an A- from me.
Yeah, I'm going to give him an A.
And Washington Commanders didn't make a lot of picks, but they made a lot of good ones.
Yeah.
Josh Connerly in the first round, Trey Amos in the second, Jalen Lane in the fourth, Kane Medrano, one of my favorites. Go back and listen to me talk about the combine from March. Kane Medrano is the guy. Seventh round, Ja'Cory Krosky, Merritt. What do the Washington Commanders get?
The Washington Commanders get a solid B+.
I'm going to give him a B+ as well. Love Kane Medrano. He's an awesome player.
Would have loved to see him grab an edge rusher.
Yeah, that's
I think that would have jumped into an A.
That's fair. Okay. That's the whole draft class right there. We just said every single name that got drafted. There was a bunch of undrafted free agents. That's a conversation for another day. We got to see if they even make the team. But, yeah, that's us from Myrtle. I'll be back on Friday with Luke, and we'll knock some stuff out. Obviously, we'll talk baseball, soccer, football, whatever we need to cover. I'm sure I'll give Luke some time to talk about the Steelers draft class, and maybe I'll go a little more in depth on the Falcons class. But check it out on Friday. We're going to enjoy the rest of our vacation here.
Lovely weather we have.
It is some lovely weather, and I'd love to go spend some time in it.
Let's go to the beach.
We're going to the beach. All right. We're going to catch you guys later. We're going to the beach.
Bye.
See you on Friday. Peace.